Hey guys, what up? What's good? Welcome to mi casa. My name is India Rose. I'm a freshman at Bennington, and welcome to my Privilege and Oppression workshop. I'm gonna give you guys a quick introduction, precursor. I'm gonna be looking at my computer because I cannot memorize anything for my life, and then we'll get into the activity. So, Bennington's college campus, like many other campuses across the country, have elements of separation and segregation. Could be based on race, sexuality, gender, socioeconomic class, etc. The purpose of this conference is to make Bennington a more inclusive community. So, how are we going to do that? My activity is intended to give us a greater understanding of the varying levels of privilege that are on our campus. That way, we can reflect on ourselves and reflect on the other people on our campus and ultimately bridge all of our gaps. For the purpose of this exercise, we're going to be focusing on race, gender, socioeconomic class, educational background, religion, ability, family structure, and sexuality. However, all intersectionalities are important, even the ones that we don't discuss, but they may be talked about in other workshops, so go participate in other workshops too. Yay! Before moving on to the activity, I wanted to touch up on some vocabulary regarding this workshop. First, I want to cover privilege. According to NCCJ, the National Conference for Community and Justice, privilege is defined as, quote, unearned access to resources, social power, that are only readily available to some people because of their social group membership. An advantage or immunity granted to or enjoyed by one societal group above and beyond the common average of all other groups. Privilege is often invisible to those who have it. Despite this definition, if you have privilege, it doesn't mean that you're unaware of it. It does not mean. There are plenty of people who do have a lot of privilege that are very, very aware of it. The goal of the activity is just to gain a better understanding of our own privilege. In addition, just because you identify with a privileged group does not mean that you haven't experienced hardship or that you don't have disadvantages in your life. We all experience privilege. We all experience disadvantages. It's simply to recognize that privilege doesn't manifest the same for every single individual. That leads me to the term that I've brought up a couple times, identity. Merriam-Webster defines identity as the distinguishing character or personality of an individual, end quote. Or, quote, the relation established by psychological identification, end quote. Or, quote, sameness of essential or generic character in different instances, end quote. In the social justice world, we refer to all of these definitions. Some examples of different identity groups that might come up in the following activity are race, social economic class, sexuality, gender, family structure, religion, political affiliation, educational background, etc. Everything that I mentioned before. So, soon I'm going to direct you to the activity. Don't worry, I will. This activity is going to be in a quiz-like format. Before I lead you to the quiz, here are a few examples of the questions that you're going to see in the activity just as a little trailer. Precursor, this is not a quiz with right answers. The only right answer that you can possibly give is the honest and truthful one. Stay true to yourself. Give us what you actually feel, what you actually experience. That's the only correct way to do this quiz. No one's going to see your responses. It's totally anonymous. This is purely for self-reflection. While you take the quiz, know that this might trigger an emotional response. It is totally okay. I wanted this experience to be meaningful and beneficial for you, so emotions are to be expected. Now, pause the video so that you can take the quiz, and once you've completed it, please come back to finish this video. Please come back, there's so much more, but here is the link. If it's not on the screen, it's probably down below. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. And I hope you learned a couple things about yourself too. Now, to fully reflect, I'm going to post some questions up on the screen. At the bottom of the slide of the screen, there's going to be a link to a Google Doc where you can write down your answers if you feel comfortable sharing. What feelings did you experience while answering the prompts? Why? Which questions evoked the most thought? Which of your identities attribute to the privilege you experience in your daily life? How can you use these privileges to benefit yourself and others? When you feel like one of your identities is creating a disadvantage or impeding on your success, where do you find support? In what ways can the knowledge learned in the session be reflected on Bennington's campus? So, those are the questions that will help you reflect a little bit more on the activity and the quiz that I gave you. Lastly, before you leave, at the bottom of the slide is a link to a quick survey. I'd really appreciate it if you guys could fill it out. It'll take less than 3 minutes. Thank you so much for participating. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed creating it. I really appreciate you taking your time to complete the workshop. All of us put so much work into this conference, and it really does mean the world to all of us. Contact me if you have any questions, any concerns. I'm always open to having just a conversation about anything, social justice, privilege, anything you want to talk about. I'm always down for an intellectual conversation. My contact will be on the next slide. But thank you so much for participating. Go do other workshops that people have posted. Thank you so much. Peace.